All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardinellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And it looks like everybody is mad at CNN. This does the conservative half of me very well to see that finally it's not just that half that's angry, but now they've just, the levees have broken, and every demographic, every person, every group, every campaign is just furious with CNN, and it's kind of funny to watch. And the evidence hath become nary overwhelming. Cody, show us the evidence.
Yes. Well, I guess we'll start off with something like you brought before, the conservative angle. So I'm going to tell us, this is a headline. It says, O'Keefe strikes again. Project Veritas uncovers CNN video, exposes Jeff Zucker's personal vendetta against Trump. This is the narrative we've heard against CNN for probably 3-4 years now, right?
So the early adopters,
yeah.
the early adopters of CNN hatred were the conservatives. Okay.
Yeah, well, in this recent cycle, but what's been interesting to me, we've been monitoring this as it's been happening over the months. Here we have a good friend of the show, Scott Santon's been doing a pretty good job tracking. I mean, here's an example. I believe this is the most recent one from October 13th. They had a Fox News poll, and we only have room. This is the tweet says, CNN, we only have room for one of the three candidates who polled at 2% in this poll. Let's go with Booker again. Sure, he's in 8th, while Andrew Yang is in 6th by average. Again, saying that, like, they only picked one person at 2%. Andrew Yang was one of them. I'm not going to give CNN too hard of a time on this. You have to pick one. But I'll go through and find 4 or 5 tweets from Scott Santon's here. Again, these are my favorite when they have these weird asymmetrical graphics, and Andrew Yang is the omitted person. Those always crack me up because it's like, it is weird. Like, why wouldn't you just have 6 candidates so it's like symmetrical, or cut 1 to 4? Why have 5, right? So that was interesting.
By the way, the SJW me is just thinking, so if you had to cut somebody out, you cut out the person who is Asian. That's racism. Why didn't we call it just, you know what I'm saying? So if somebody had to get omitted, why was it the Asian?
Well, it would have either been the Asian, the woman of color, or the gay man. Yeah. See what I mean? Like, that's why it's hard to get identity.
So they chose.
It's hard to play identity politics in this situation because of that. Like I said, you have to pick one, right? And I don't know who you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't in that way. Right. But anyway, so we'll go through. I'm just going to kind of flip these in the background. Again, just different moments when that Beto haircut, by the way, in this picture. Yikes, terrible. But just did instances with Yang Gang, Scott Sands, people saying, why is Andrew Yang being left off these polls? For example, he had 3% on this poll, and they didn't show him what they should beta. So we've been covering these. Again, what's the big deal? What's so crazy about it? Here's another one of those really funny asymmetrical ones. Why? Why even bother making this? Why do this when you leave half of it blank? But again, that's graphic department. It could be. I know some graphic artists, graphic designers. They're the kind of people where honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they just said, "This has to be in my desk in 20 minutes. Is it done?" Sure. You know what I mean? They just send it off as not finished because they want to. Like, I couldn't get the blue hue, the right blue. You know what I mean? Like, they'll get caught up. So I'm not going to give them too hard a time. But this is the next thing we've seen of CNN hate. This one, and look, we're obviously nothing against the guy. I'm not the biggest Bernie Sanders supporter.
So it's gone
or fan.
From the conservatives now into the moderates.
Yeah,
all right. So CNN hatred is creeping from the right slowly into the middle.
Well, they're bothering people. But and again, I want to make sure Bernie Sanders is going up against this basically his whole career. He's not been the media darling. 16 is the closest he got, and the media helped the DNC steal the nomination from him. So that's the closest he got. Still, though. Here we have this is a funny tweet from Eli Valley. I'm not familiar with the person, but he said, "Happy Halloween" from CNN's graphics team. Dude, if you're going to pick one photo of a guy to use, one photo, and by the way, it's Bernie Sanders. They probably have on file 15,000 pictures of the guy. Yeah. They go for the picture where it looks like, I love scaling back and almost like subliminally they're trying to like make his like, when I read that and see the picture, his skin looks like gross and scaly to me because they use the word scaling in the photo. I'm just saying that. Fairness aside, it's a bad picture of the guy. They probably could have found a better one, right?
Yeah. Now, this is actually really important, and I want our audience to actually pay very close attention to this because these are the games they play. I'm a firm believer that you should never attribute to malice that which can be explained by incompetence, all right? And I do believe a lot of these errors, especially sometimes the graphical errors, are errors of incompetence, not errors of malice. However, and notwithstanding, okay, I know for a fact that attribution of Bernie Sanders with that bad picture was malice because there's actually data that supports it. when conservatives really started complaining about the misrepresentation in the media, especially by CNN, there were actually some private studies commissioned during the McCain versus Obama, the first election of McCain versus Obama back in, I believe it was like 2008. Okay. Really, the data was overwhelming. And the biggest number I remember was 8-1. They took pictures, whatever pictures were of the campaign of McCain versus Obama. They would rate the picture on a scale of 1 to 10, just by people in the public. You know, is this a flattering picture? Is this a positive picture? Or is it a negative picture? Right. And it was 8-1, the amount of positive pictures of Barack Obama in the media versus negative pictures of John McCain. Meaning, if you were a CNN writer and you had to put out a story, when you put out the story and you included the graphics, you'd include a purposefully very unflattering picture of John McCain with a purposefully flattering picture of the guy you liked, Barack Obama. Now, that's what gave rise to this whole fake news idea, was because, yeah, it's not fake. It technically is not a fake picture, and it's not an untrue picture, but it's a hyper-biased picture. And there's data that actually shows they use bad pictures of candidates they don't like on purpose to try and subliminally message that these people are incompetent, stupid, short, unhealthy, whatever. And speaking of unhealthy, we'll see that a little bit later on with Bernie, won't we? How they manipulated a different picture. Anyway, I veer verbose. Cody, continue.
No, I mean, it was a good point, and they do the stuff a lot. Sorry, I was actually...
I was just showing that there's numbers there's numbers that track what you just claimed.
Oh, of course,
There are literally studies that have been done in which 8-1 Barack Obama was positively referenced in images. And fact check me on this, by the way.
I remember there's we were doing MSNBC, I believe it was, in the first debate, was accused of digitally adding a blemish to Tulsi Gabbard's skin and using bad I mean, like, they do this stuff. Speaking of, this is really interesting. Now, I don't want to get into the white balance gate here. However, interesting moment here. So this was and I just want to set this up a little bit. The photo we're about to see, this was Bernie Sanders, I believe, first appearance after his heart attack, leaving his cardiologist. So here we go. It's a tweet from Pete Buttigieg, a Republican. Yeah. It says, I shoot and edit videos professionally. If a trained photographer is shooting with this skew to white balance, they're doing so on purpose. On the left is Bernie Sanders about to drop dead of a heart attack from CNN. On the right is what Bernie Sanders actually looked like at the event. So, and you can see other stuff in the background, like the grass, obviously the grass doesn't look green, it looks brown. Like, the colors are a little bit off on that one.
They were
again,
just
another instance, right?
They were concerned because his hair actually looked the most kempt I've ever seen it in his Bernie Sanders career. So they didn't know how else better to marginalize him than just to change the hue of his skin, because he's actually wearing the Andrew Yang uniform. You know, no tie.
Yeah, it's not a green blazer like it looks like in the. It looks like a green blazer in this picture. It's not green.
They literally had no choice. Whoever wanted to marginalize Bernie Sanders at CNN literally had no more choices, because he's wearing the Andrew Yang tieless entrepreneur outfit, while with a decently, you know, he doesn't have his crazy, wild, mad scientist hair. Like, how else more can we marginalize Bernie Sanders?
Well, and remember,
bump up the color saturation.
Yeah. Remember too, like I said, this was, I believe, first public appearance, or one of the first ones after his heart attack, leaving the cardiologist, where if you want to make it look like someone's having bad heart issues, make him look like a plum or whatever he is. I mean, like
the chick from Willy Wonka's Chocolate
Exactly.
Factory.
That is not a good look. So again, just in all fairness, it's possible. I think Cardin actually brought this up. No CNN fan, but he's like, I mean, if you're shooting on an iPhone and auto balance and just upload it on Twitter, they might screw with it. That being said, it's a bad look for CNN. And there's a couple more I want to run through here.
Well, yeah, any one of these events, you could convince me I should say, any one of these incidences, you could convince me was incompetence or was human error.
A mistake.
But with
arrogance.
We had to stop, guys. Just so you know, me and Cody talk for about triple the amount of time that it takes us to film. We talk prepping for each one of these episodes. And we finally just had to stop gathering evidence from the past week of CNN's incompetence, because it was just overwhelming and we thought we'd have a 1 hour long podcast. So, anyway, continue. Speaking of overwhelming evidence, continue. Let's keep going down the list.
Well, here's something I
would just like to keep highlighting that it's gone from the conservatives, now to the moderates, now to the Bernie people. We just CNN keeps pissing off deeper and deeper and deeper into the political spectrum.
Oh, of course. And and this is something, I'm sorry, I forgot about something I was going to pull. I'm trying to pull something up right now as well. I don't know if it's something cool, but here we go. That's the next thing I want to get to. Sorry, I had something else I didn't even thought about. We just brought up though. But again, we're going to move through here. This was the next thing I wanted to bring to. So CNN had, I believe, a couple of days ago in Los Angeles, their big LGBTQ town hall. Most of the candidates, Yang notably wasn't there. Bernie Sanders wasn't there because of heart issues. However, this is CNN. CNN's writing this article about their own event, by the way. I'm sure they love doing this. Protesters interrupt CNN LGBTQ town hall to highlight
scared.
plight of black transgender women. I can go through, and there was multiple moments during this thing where protesters.
If that were a conservative that had
people are dying,
interrupt,
do something. Trans lives matter. They were chanting. Protesters chanted trans lives matter.
If that was a Christian activist talking about the Christian genocide in the Middle East, how ISIS is literally just, in the Middle East they're committing genocide against Christians, that headline wouldn't be Christian activists interrupt CNN town hall in order to talk about the plight of Christians. It would have been wild and crazed protesters interrupt our town hall in order to spread vicious misinformation about the Middle East. But these people are so scared of the LGBTQ. Like, this is what Dave Chappelle was talking about.
Yo, but listen to this right here. I mean, this was the
Look at that headline. That's not the headline they wanted to write.
Yeah, no. Wait, I think it actually was the headline they wanted to write. Sorry, but here we go. So, Bambi Salcedo, a Latina transgender activist, was among the protesters on Thursday night. She spoke up during Buttigieg's time on stage, chanting along with others, "Trans people are dying, do something." And again, Pete Buttigieg, who I believe is the only gay candidate running in the selection. So we could see a lot of people are unhappy with CNN for a lot of reasons. I'm going to go through a couple more funny things I wanted to highlight. This was a little offhand moment during, do they actually have the quote here? Here we go. So there's a little offhand moment during that same LGBTQ town hall where Kamala Harris walked on stage. I believe Cuomo asked her for her pronouns, the way that
No.
She said my pronouns are he and her.
Can we show that clip? Or are you worried about the copyright strike stuff?
Don't want to show CNN. But
CNN,
but
by
anyway,
the way. Actually, no, this is perfect evidence for the podcast we're making. Me and Cody, we'd love to show you this 8 seconds of the CNN town hall that we have a YouTube video for.
But we can.
That is all part of the Fair Use Act, but CNN has so many stupid little interns floating around cyberspace trying to copyright strike anytime you use CNN stuff, because they know that it takes about 7 to 10 days in order for the copyright strike to get worked out by a human being that looks at it. And in that 7 to 10 days, you've lost 99% of your revenue on the video. So they're absolute, not only are they incompetent, but they're the worst people to deal with, even within the realm of the rules that all of us agree on. Just bad faith actors. So yeah, now they've even pissed me off. They've gone from the James O'Keefes to the moderates to the Bernie people. Now they're bothering Cardinal as a problem solver politics. So anyway, keep going.
Yeah, I mean, just to recap the moment again. So when Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris walked on stage, she introduced herself using she, her, and hers as pronouns. Mine too, Cuomo responded, which was met with an uncomfortable silence. It was. And then while he was roasted soundly across social media, some were kind. Some people said, I think
it was funny.
Again, though, people were upset with that. And we got a few more I'm running through. And most of these are from the last week and a half or so.
That was one of the only times where I actually thought Chris Cuomo said something that was organic and actually kind of funny. Basically, Kamala Harris was going out of her way to show how pro-transgender she is, where she's never done this in any other interview ever. But when she came out and he introduced her, before she started talking, she said, "Oh, just so you know, my preferred pronouns are hers, she, hers, or whatever it was, you know?" And he made a joke. He just said, "Oh, yeah, mine too." You know, it was actually kind of funny. Okay? Dude. Lambasted.
Well, I mean, he wasn't necessarily canceled or crucified, but it wasn't great. And then I'm actually going to show a clip from the town hall. Hopefully the edits they use in this video will save us. this is another thing. I forgot about this as another thing. So again, I'm just going to highlight things CNN have done in the last few weeks. They've left Andrew Yang off graphics that are very curiously composed, I guess you could say, which is one thing. They made it look like Bernie Sanders is either dying or already dead, depending on
or very angry.
Yeah, depending on which photo you look at in particular. He's either going to have the fatal one or he's about to. Oh, I think there was one. Did I actually close this clip or do I still have it? I closed the clip. There was a clip I had up here. I don't have it right now, where a CNN anchor actually went on air and said that Bernie Sanders had a stroke. He didn't have a stroke. He had a heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
No, nothing hard, not downplaying heart attack. He's like, it isn't a stroke. Strokes are worse, and she said he had one. No, it didn't.
With like no correction in sight either. I think nobody caught it.
I think one of the anchors later on back at the CNN office said, well, I think it was a heart attack, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, they didn't get to it. Now, this was really interesting. So this is a viral clip a lot of you guys might have seen. I tweeted it out, so if you follow us on Twitter, you might have seen us there, or I retweeted it. And here's a clip from Elizabeth Warren at the LGBTQ town hall the other day. Let me see if I can get this going.
Let's say you're on the campaign trail and you're approached. You have been. And a supporter approaches you and says, Senator, I'm old-fashioned, and my faith teaches me that marriage is between one man and one woman. What is your response?
Well, I'm going to assume it's a guy who said that. And I'm going to say, then just marry one woman.
Yeah,
How cool is that?
I mean, that's a funny response, and I get it.
First of all, I'm not down with this comedy bits stuff in the middle of your. Assuming you could find one. What a burn from Mrs. Warren. Well, here we go. You know what? That question went really well for Elizabeth Warren, didn't it? Like, it almost seemed like it was set up.
Well, it made it onto SNL.
Well, but hold on, though. Do you think perhaps it has anything to do with the fact that Morgan Cox, who, by the way, I've been informed, don't know for sure, I do not believe speaks with a Texas accent, and he put the accent on for the question.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I noticed that. It seemed a little bit exaggerated.
Who is this Morgan Cox fellow? Well-dressed, good-looking guy, speaks well. Well, who is sorry, I just want to make sure we get to the right thing. Here we go. So this is an article from, I believe, PJ Media. Don't know a ton of PJ Media. I don't know if they're biased or whatever, but this, as far as I know, is true. So Elizabeth Warren, in one of those moments a presidential candidate dreams of during the LGBTQ town hall on Thursday, a concerned citizen from the audience approached the microphone and asked her an earnest question. And then she had a comedy bit that seemed pre-rehearsed, right? So that's really good. Only one problem. The exchange with the audience member could very well have been staged. The concerned citizen asking the question, Morgan Cox, was on the board of directors of the Human Rights Campaign, one of the co-hosts of the town hall, and he's an Elizabeth Warren supporter. Donor data also revealed that a man matching Cox's profiles, maybe not him, donated at least $5,400 to Warren in 17 and 18, and Morgan Cox III also. So Morgan Cox have donated money to Elizabeth Warren. One thing and then there's nothing illegal. They go through and talk about this more. I don't want to get too lost in it. I just wanted to highlight it.
There's nothing illegal about it, but they're trying to make it.
I think it's hilarious. Look, they don't even hide it. It says right here, Morgan Cox, chair, Human Rights Campaign, board of directors. The Human Rights Campaign co-chaired the event or co-sponsored the event. He comes up with a rehearsed question for Elizabeth Warren, puts on an accent, she goes into her comedy bit. I mean, people are upset about this as well. So again, just running through about a week and a half of CNN, they found a way to piss off or upset the LGBT community, Bernie Sanders supporters, Andrew Yang supporters, the Trump crowd. If you are involved in politics at any level, you're probably upset with CNN right now. I just want to highlight.
And they're the ones that we play in the airports. And they're the ones we play in the airports.
Contracts, right?
As the centrist, non-biased media source that won't get people angry as they wait for their airplanes. So anyway, yeah, the beautiful thing about this, I never thought I'd see this in my political lifetime, but only two things have ever been able to bring the far left and the far right together. Andrew Yang. In our audience, there's a lot of progressive Democrats who, are loving this UBI thing, mistakenly think it's a progressive idea when it was ours first. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, you got a lot of progressives in our audience, and you got a lot of libertarians, and pretty hard right characters, all within one audience because they're all in the Yang gang. So Andrew Yang unifies people, and the wild, unbridled incompetence of CNN also unifies everybody. We can all agree CNN sucks.
I still the two that stand out to me, this one, I cannot believe. Like I said, we are no Bernie bros here. We're not big Bernie Sanders guys. Nothing against him personally. Just don't want to be president. I still can't believe they ran this. I mean, I've seen them do it with Tulsi before. Then with Marianne. They make them look worse than they are. They literally found a picture of Bernie Sanders where it looks like he is like falling apart. And they use scaling back. I think if they wanted to be real nasty, like I said, subliminally, when I read scale and I see like that big liver spot in his head, I think of like skin peel. They're gross stuff.
Oh.
And if CNN did it on accident, they did it on accident, and they're very good at their job. But that, and then bringing the guy up on stage, they do that again. This, I want to be 100% fair. It's not a CNN thing, but bring in a dude who probably donates to Warren and they even mention is the chair of the Human Rights Campaign. Give her this totally candid question from a concerned support. Dude, are you kidding me? It's no question from a concerned person in the audience. It's a staged comedy bit that CNN helped Elizabeth Warren put on television. I think it's nonsense. I think it's nonsense the way the media in general does it, but I do think it's really funny to highlight how over the last week and a half here, CNN keeps getting caught over and over and over and over and over again. And then even when they don't do anything necessarily wrong, it still makes people mad. So I just thought it was really funny to point it out and just show if you think whatever you support, if you support X, Y, or Z, and you think the media is not giving you a fair shake and no one believes you, guess what? You're probably right, because the media gives almost nobody a fair shake. And here we see Bernie Sanders, Andrew Yang, and then the other end of it where they kind of boost the profile of Elizabeth Warren and give her
an alley-oop.
It's literally a scripted comedy bit that she put in her presidential town hall. I don't want to hear jokes. I want to hear... Here's the funny thing. Some people said that's a good answer to the question. Elizabeth Warren didn't answer the man's question. He said, what would you say to someone who says, I believe marriage between a man and a woman? She's like, well, one woman's fine with me. What? So you say nothing to them? You laugh in their face and do a comedy bit? It was I don't know. I don't want to get too upset. But
it was low on substance.
I am now mad at CNN. Everyone really is mad at CNN. I wasn't mad when I started this. Now I'm mad at CNN. So I don't know. That's all I got to say.
So we're fired up here at the Problem Solver Politics studio, as you can tell. Anyway, let us know what you guys think. Have we gone wrong? Like,
do you like CNN?
Yeah, do you like CNN?
Are you happy with them?
Tell us why. We'd love to hear. But I think there's a reason why they got a lower, the media has a lower approval rating than even Congress right now. And what's the moral of the story? Really, truly, the moral of the story is the importance of new media and channels just like this one, where we actually come to you with the clips themselves, as much as we can, the original footage that we have taken ourselves. I think this is all a part of legacy media just dying and these death gasps trying to maintain relevance because the house of cards is just falling apart at the seams. They're getting just more and more desperate for attention, and in this process they're just botching everything. So anyway, let us know where we go wrong. If you think we go wrong, if you want to contribute to the channel, please. There's a PayPal link in the description. We still got some hats. You can pick up a hat at problemsolverpolitics.com if you want some merch. And we're going to be hanging out on the stream tomorrow, Tuesday, answering a bunch of your voicemails. We got about 20 voicemails, and they're all awesome. We'd love to highlight those on the stream and have you participate. And other than that, pay attention to videos. Like and share and subscribe as much as you can. This is Problem Solver Politics. We'll see you in the next video.